Get away from me!
9 months.
Three young people break into a stranger's house, take all the valuables, and as a final act, smash the door and drive away. Satisfied with what they've done, Rocky announces her plan to leave, while Alex desperately wants to go with her, but can't abandon his father. Back home, he quietly returns his father's keys. Meanwhile, Money sells the stolen goods to a fence, who gives him a tip about a house owned by an elderly man. The old man's daughter recently died in a car accident, and the person responsible paid him $300,000, which is supposedly hidden in the house. Money tells his friends about it, and Alex warns that getting caught would mean over 10 years in prison. But all they need from him is his universal keys. Later, Alex receives a message asking if he's in, and after hesitating, he decides to search for information on the homeowner online. Meanwhile, Rocky feeds her younger sister Diddy, while their mother spends time with her latest boyfriend. Rocky gets Alex's message confirming his participation and promises her sister that they'll soon leave for California. That evening, the group's car pulls up at the targeted house. Alex notices Rocky's new tattoo of a ladybug. She explains that after their dad left, she used to cry often, and her mom would lock her in the trunk. One day, a ladybug flew in, and she felt less alone. Ever since, it's been her symbol of hope. Money points out that all the nearby houses are vacant, and the owner hasn't left his house for months. Suddenly, a huge dog, the old man's pet, lunges at the car. They discover that Norman, the homeowner, is blind, having lost his sight in the Iraq War. Alex hesitates, questioning the morality of robbing a blind man, but that night, the trio proceeds with the plan. They sedate the dog and try opening the door with Alex's universal key, but it doesn't work due to an inside latch. They circle the house, but all the windows are barred, and the basement entrance is locked from within. Rocky suggests climbing in through a small window. Though Alex objects, she insists, and they break the glass, allowing her to crawl in and disable the alarm. While searching the house, she notices an upside-down picture of a girl. Meanwhile, the boys argue about Alex's interest in Rocky. At that moment, Rocky opens the door, and the three enter the house, removing their shoes to move more quietly as they start inspecting the house. Money switches on the lights since the owner won't be able to see them. Each chooses a room to search. Rocky checks the wardrobe, Alex notices a locked door, and Money heads upstairs to the owner's bedroom, where he finds a video of a young girl playing in the yard. Money prepares a sedative to put the old man to sleep, but Norman suddenly sits up in bed. Money freezes as the man turns off the TV and lies down again. Money releases the gas and heads back downstairs. They approach the locked door, but the lock can't be picked, so Money pulls out a gun. Alex is shocked, reminding him that this allows the owner to legally shoot them. He tries to lead Rocky out of the house, but Money fires at the lock, breaking it. Alex steps outside when the doors upstairs creak open. Norman isn't asleep, he's descending to the living room. Rocky and Money freeze in place, but Money decides to distract the old man, pretending to be a random thief who broke into what he thought was an empty house. Norman moves toward him, stepping on the broken lock. Realizing the ruse won't work, Money raises his gun. Despite the warning, the old man continues forward and suddenly grabs him by the throat. Money fires a warning shot. Alex hears it and rushes back inside. Norman strikes Money, then asks how many others there are. Money swears he's alone, but Norman eliminates him. Rocky covers her mouth to stop herself from screaming as the owner listens carefully, then moves quickly to the door, almost bumping into Alex. Alex watches as the old man locks the front door and boards up a window. Meanwhile, Rocky hides in the closet, squeezing into the farthest corner. She texts Alex, who is hiding under the sink just a few steps away from Norman. Alex responds that he's in the bathroom. The old man enters the closet, and it turns out this is where the safe is hidden. Rocky notices the combination code as he checks to ensure the money is still there, then locks the safe and leaves. Alex joins Rocky and urges her to leave, but she opens the safe and takes the cash, which turns out to be far more than they expected. Now they face the problem of how to escape. They look again at the basement door, where there might be a way out. However, the blind man re-enters the room, and they freeze as he drags Money's body toward the door. The floor beneath Alex begins to creak, and the old man raises his gun. Suddenly, Money's phone starts vibrating in his bag, and Norman relaxes, turning back to Money's body. The young pair head down to the basement to find a way out. Norman senses an unfamiliar smell in the room and starts searching, quickly finding Rocky and Alex's shoes. Realizing there were 3 intruders, he hurries to the safe and discovers the money is gone. Enraged, he begins searching the house. Rocky and Alex make their way through the basement, unable to locate an exit. Alex turns on the light, and suddenly, a woman lunges at them. Startled, Rocky pulls on a signal cord that runs up to a bell. Looking around, they see a young woman with her mouth taped shut, bound by a strange vest with shackles. Hearing the bell, Norman realizes where to search for them. The woman tries to communicate with the pair, and Alex moves closer. She shows them a newspaper clipping, and Rocky realizes this is Cindy, the woman who ran over Norman's daughter. They decide to set her free. However, they hear the owner's footsteps upstairs. Alex notices another safe and, using the code he's seen, finds keys that unlock Cindy's vest. The 3 of them find a door and open it, but Norman is waiting outside and starts shooting, hitting Cindy with the first bullet. Alex and Rocky hide in the basement while Norman comes down. He finds Cindy's body, breaks down crying over her, then locks the door, breaking the key in the lock. The old man switches off the basement light and starts shooting at any suspicious sound. Eventually, he manages to grab Alex, but his gun is out of bullets, and Alex is able to knock him out. Rocky and Alex make it upstairs only to be confronted by the dog, which blocks their way. They hear banging from the basement door. The old man has regained consciousness. They race up to the bedroom, but the windows are barred. Rocky escapes the room through the ventilation system, but the dog attacks Alex, who, breaking a window, falls onto a glass roof. Norman grabs his gun. Alex lies unconscious as the owner searches the room below. The Rottweiler chases Rocky through the ventilation duct, and the old man is distracted by the noise. Alex regains consciousness and sees Norman with the gun. The old man fires, shattering the glass, and Alex falls into the storage room. Norman chases him throughout the house and finally catches up with him in the workshop. A fight ensues, during which the old man tries to stab Alex with large gardening shears. Meanwhile, Rocky manages to knock out a ventilation grate, but the old man catches her and beats her, knocking her unconscious. When she regains consciousness, Rocky finds herself in the basement, now bound in the same vest Cindy was wearing. Norman reveals that after his daughter's death, Cindy should have been punished, but she used her money to avoid jail time. He decided that justice would be served if she gave him a new child. Cindy had been pregnant, but due to Rocky and her friends, she died, and now Rocky will have to make up for this. At this point, Alex regains consciousness. At the last moment, he managed to dodge the blow, and the old man plunged the shears into a nearby sack instead. Alex is able to lock the dog in a room. Meanwhile, Norman places Cindy's body in an iron chest and pours acid over it. Alex opens the front door, while Rocky prays for deliverance, but Norman mocks her faith. He had promised to let Cindy go after she bore him a child, but now he's grown tired of waiting. Norman hoists Rocky up by the ropes attached to her vest, then takes out scissors, cutting her clothing. At that moment, Alex appears and knocks out the old man, freeing Rocky. Enraged, Rocky punches Norman. They chain him up, knowing that if they call the police, they will end up in jail and lose the money. Norman tells them to leave, saying they got what they wanted. The two head upstairs and try to open the door, but just as the lock clicks, a gunshot rings out. Norman has escaped from the basement, and with the shot, Alex falls. Rocky manages to escape. The blind man cannot pursue her, but his dog is still on the loose. The Rottweiler charges after Rocky. She climbs into a car, but the dog grabs her backpack with the money. Rocky barely manages to roll up the windows and tries to think of a way to retrieve the bag, but the dog won't let her out. Rocky finally tricks the dog and ties it down with a seatbelt. Just as she retrieves her backpack, Norman catches her again. He drags her back to the house where she sees Alex's body, but at that moment, a ladybug lands on her hand. She manages to reach the remote for the alarm and activates it. The loud sound disorients the old man. Rocky grabs a crowbar and strikes him several times. Norman falls into the basement and accidentally shoots himself. Believing him to be dead, Rocky flees the house before the police arrive. Before leaving for Los Angeles, Rocky sees a news report on TV and learns that Norman survived. He made it seem like only Alex and Money had broken into his house and that he killed them in self-defense, but he kept silent about Rocky and the money. Rocky and Diddy drive away,